Welcome back. You found me. Hey, we're going to talk about rapport today, right? And I talk with a lot of salespeople, a lot of accountants, and when I'm talking to them about rapport, you know what they think it is? Small talk. Can you believe that, right? Hey, how's the weather? Very over there. Is it raining today? Did the Browns win? Did the Patriots win? Right? Talking about, I like the books behind your shelf. That looks cool over there. Hey, how the kids doing? Well, we're getting somewhere with that, right? But all of it's amateur sales, okay? In elite salespeople, they don't build rapport. Write this down. They engineer psychological safety. Guys, rapport isn't getting someone to like you, all right? What it is about getting their nervous system to stop seeing you as a threat. Because people don't buy from people they like. They buy from people that they trust. And trust is a psychological state. It's not an emotion. So I'm going to show you the deepest rapport framework that I can possibly dive into, right? This is neuroscience, behavioral psychology. It's evolutionary psychology. It's communication theory, and exactly how elite accounting professionals use it to become trusted advisors instead of someone selling bookkeeping. I just want to say, I'm teaching all of this stuff for free. You'd have to buy like a Jeremy Minor course for a couple thousand, $7,000. Okay, I teach it for free. You'd have to read a bunch of sales books. I teach it for free. So make sure you like and subscribe. Help me out here, right? Okay, write this down. Module 1, what rapport actually is. For a lot of people, it's defined incorrectly. It is not friendship. It is not similarity. It's not even charisma. Rapport is the feeling that another human understands me accurately and has my best interest in mind. Well, notice something. They don't have to know you. They don't have to like you. They simply need to believe that, hey, this person that I'm speaking with right now, that they understand my world. And that's huge. And just think about humans, right? They evolved in tribes for hundreds of thousands of years, okay? Every stranger that they ran into, it was potential danger. That's what it represented. Now, our brains are still mammalian brains. They haven't evolved that much. So your brain still carries this programming today. Within seconds of meeting someone, your subconscious asks, hey, is this safe? Is it dangerous? Is this person competent, incompetent? Do they like me? Are they against me? So the sale begins, the sale begins before logic ever enters the conversation, okay? It's called, and that leads me to my next module, neuroscience. The neuroscience of rapport. Let's title module 2, the neuroscience of rapport, and make sure you're writing all this down. What's wrong with you? If you're not training, you're complaining. Look, you're complaining right now. Don't want to write it down. What's wrong with you? The more you learn, the more you earn. Come on. All right. So, look, when someone first enters a call, okay, when someone first answers your phone call, their brain is operating primarily through threat detection. The amygdala, okay, it's back here. It immediately evaluates uncertainty. Unknown people, unknown intentions, unknown outcomes, unknown cost. If uncertainty remains high, the brain conserves energy. You know what that sounds like? I'm just looking. I need to think. Send me information. Well, those aren't objections. I call those protective mechanisms. Your first objective isn't selling. It's lowering cognitive threat, okay? Once psychological safety increases, the prefrontal cortex, the logical decision-making center, becomes more engaged. Only then can someone thoughtfully compare options, weigh outcomes, and make a buying decision. Rapport creates the conditions for rational thinking. And without it, people default to avoidance. Boom, let's hop down to module 3. You notice how it always leads me to my next module? So, why accountants need rapport more than anyone? That's the title of this module. Why do accountants need it more than anything? Well, I would say because accounting is extremely unique. You're asking clients to trust you with their finances, their taxes, their businesses, their fears, their mistakes, their future even, okay? And this isn't buying a TV, it's trusting someone with years of work. People don't hire accountants, they hire certainty, confidence. I call it the 2 C's, C squared, right? Certainty and confidence. Peace of mind. Your technical skills matter. I can't stress that enough. But your ability to create trust determines whether prospects ever get far enough to appreciate that skill. Now let's drop down to module 4. The elite rapport formula. Okay, I call this the rapport formula, and I'm going to break down each letter. So do R period, A period, P period, P period, O period, R period, T period. Okay, now the R in rapport stands for regulate emotion. Write that down. Regulate emotion. And this is what I need you to comprehend here, is that people mirror emotional states. If you're nervous, they become nervous. If you're rushed, they become rushed. If you're calm, their nervous system becomes calming. Okay? Before every appointment, I want you to ask yourself, what emotional state am I transferring? State transfer happens before information transfer. Okay? State transfer happens before information transfer. Let's go to the A in rapport. The A stands for, make sure you're writing this down, accurate observation. Guys, elite salespeople notice everything. You should notice everything. Energy, speech speed, confidence, vocabulary, stress level, right? Analytical personality, visionary personality, relationship-focused personality, data-focused personality. They observe before they speak, okay? Average reps listen to respond, and the best sales reps listen to understand. So I'm not listening to respond, I'm listening to understand. That's what you have to get good at. You have to get good at many things, but that's one of them. The P in this rapport stands for psychological matching. And it's not manipulation, it's just reducing unnecessary friction. So if you have a fast speaker, increase your rate of speech slightly. Don't go too crazy, but increase your pace slightly. If you got a quiet speaker, just lower your energy. Okay, if you sense they're analytical, I want you to focus on using numbers. Focus on using numbers. If they're very future-driven, visionary, okay, I want you to get good at painting pictures and telling stories with them. And if they're an owner, I want you to respect autonomy, all right? Employee, I want you to reduce risk. People trust what feels familiar. So find what it is, get good at diagnosing. You have to study human behavior. I mean, that's part of the game. And even if it's over the phone, you have to get good at studying tonality. And that's something you just have to do through repetition and time and reading a lot of books. So don't beat yourself up if you're not good at it now. But, boy, if you don't get good at it, you're in trouble. All right, the P stands for precision questions. Guys, questions build rapport. Advice destroys rapport too early. Write that down. Questions build rapport. Advice destroys rapport too early. Notice doctors, they don't walk into the room prescribing medicine. What they do is they diagnose, right? Great questions communicate. I'm trying to understand, okay? Let me give you an example. What made you reach out today? What changed? Why now? What happens if nothing changes? What does success actually look like? Every answer makes people feel understood, okay? You have to understand that great questions communicate that you're trying to understand. So by asking these questions, you're building trust. I can't stress that enough. And selling isn't telling, so you got to get away from that. Let's drop down to O. Let's drop down to the O. The O stands for outcome reflection. And this is where... ribbit. Got a frog in my throat. But the O stands for outcome reflection. This is where elite salespeople separate themselves. Instead of immediately solving problems, what they do is they reflect. So if I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like, now from your perspective, you've been dealing with. So those would be things that you want to say to them, by the way. Reflection tells the brain, hey, he gets me. Right? He gets me. And people trust those who accurately describe their internal world. Let's go to the R. Reframe identity. I talk about this all the time. And it's people buy identities, not products. You don't tell someone you need bookkeeping. I want you to tell them you've built something. This is what I want you to tell them. Hey, John, you've built something valuable. Now it's time your financial systems reflect the quality of your business. You're elevating who they are becoming, right? And identity drives behavior. Let's go to the T. Okay? Trust through competence. Trust through competence. Friendship never replaces expertise. Confidence without competence becomes arrogance, and competence without confidence becomes uncertainty, right? Elite rapport ends with authority. You calmly explain, here's what I see. And here's why it's happening, and here's how we fix it. No pressure, just certainty. Let's drop down to Module 5. What you need to look for. What you need to look for. Well, great rapport comes from observation, not talking, and this is what professionals constantly evaluate, all right? Communication speed, the decision-making style, the confidence level, the financial anxiety that they're displaying, risk tolerance, their ego and pride, right? Their identity that they navigate with, their family motivation, their business maturity. What else is there? Current frustrations, their dream outcome, buying history, hidden fears. Every sentence tells you something. And most salespeople miss it because they're waiting for their next question. Right? You're always anticipating what to say, and that's blowing your money. Let's go to Module 6, which is the psychology of similarity. The psychology of similarity. Guys, humans naturally trust familiarity. This is known as the similarity attraction effect, okay? And people tend to feel more comfortable with those they perceive as sharing similar experiences, communication styles, or values. But here's where many salespeople go wrong. Guys, you fake common ground, and prospects sense that immediately. Instead, what I want you to do is connect through genuine understanding, okay? Instead of saying things like, I know exactly how you feel. Why don't you say this instead? From what you've shared today, Janet, I can understand why that's frustrating you so much. Boom, okay? And obviously elaborate more on the situation, but empathy is more credible than pretending identical experiences, okay? So they can sense that in their gut. They can sense it in their intuition when you're BSing them. Don't want to do that. Literally, from what you've shared today, I can understand why that's frustrating for you. And I'm sure you'd be glad to know that many people I speak with told me the exact same situation that you're in, and they found that after using our services, they were relieved of those pains, or relieved of those pains, or they found that after using my services, they no longer experience X, Y, and Z. So you just have to be able to adapt it to the situation that you're in. Module 7, emotional labeling. Emotional labeling. Guys, the best negotiators use emotional labeling constantly. And some examples of that would be, hey, it sounds frustrating, sounds overwhelming, sounds like you've been carrying this alone. That sounds exhausting. Notice something, you're not fixing. What happens is you're naming. And when people hear their emotions accurately identified, stress often decreases because they feel understood. They understand defending themselves. They stop explaining themselves. They start expanding, right? They no longer defend themselves. And that's when deeper conversations happen. Let's drop down to Module 8. We have the 3 levels of rapport. So there's 3 levels of rapport, okay? There's level 1. That's conversation rapport. And that's friendly, comfortable, kind of like basic stuff. How's the weather? How you doing? And then there's level 2, which is problem rapport. Okay, you understand their business, their frustrations, their financial situation. Most professionals never get beyond here. All right. Level 3 is identity rapport, and this is the deepest level of rapport. And it's who are they becoming? What kind of business owner do they want to be? What legacy do they want? How do they want employees to see them? How do they want customers to remember them? Identity conversations create transformational sales, and that's what you want to get good at, is getting them. You can identity frame people all day. Obviously, I make many videos. I talk about that a lot, but this video is about rapport. Let's drop down to Module 9, rapport mistakes. Well, I would say talking too much, trying to impress, giving advice too early, rushing discovery, selling and telling, interrupting, assuming instead of asking, fake enthusiasm, overusing scripts, trying to be liked, trying to build rapport instead of earning trust. Okay, trying to build rapport instead of earning trust. And the goal isn't friendship. The goal is for you to literally understand them so you can tailor your presentation to solve their problem. That's it. I don't know how else to say it. Let's drop down to Module 10. Hey, how am I going to apply this in my conversations as an accounting professional? How are you going to do that? Well, let me help you out here. Imagine someone says, I've been doing my own bookkeeping. Most of you will respond and say, well, we can do it better. Instead, I want you to ask, how much time does that take each month? Well, what parts do you enjoy? What parts drain you? What opportunities are you missing while you're doing the books? When was the last time your financials actually helped you make a business decision? Notice what happened. You moved from bookkeeping to business strategy. And now you're no longer selling bookkeeping, you're helping them see the opportunity cost of staying where they are. That's a very different conversation. I want to leave you on this. Rapport is not a trick, and it's not manipulation. It's the disciplined practice of understanding another person so accurately that they feel safe enough to make a meaningful decision. The best accountants don't win because they're the most charismatic. They win because clients leave the conversation thinking, hey, you know what? I think this person, well, not I think, but this person understood my business better than anyone else. Master rapport and you'll stop chasing clients. You'll become the advisor they chose to trust. And they choose to trust every time. So, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.